the Italian crunchy cereal. Enya asem ketwa. So asensan players any ade say bibia so no be koye. Ene Juventus abo rem apin Chelsea. Any Chelsea din komo bi. Ti be rem din komo na omo ni Chelsea. The player ben ho asem ene omo di hu komo e ho nom. Me no ka say wutimu say yes, enya asem ketwa kra. Garnacho so latest net sign OSASUNA Javi Simons and so no et say ye be share na fe de bibia bro. Enra Real Madrid any OSASUNA at the boani nyasem ketwa kra. At the end of 90 minutes on Real Madrid shebako ema OSASUNA ntumi ante. Omo first win. Was it an impressive outing? Does it give confidence? Does it show say they on the right track? And now said you be room the course of game nimu how are two teams in approaching games, you know. Players are starting here. Any individual performances are a course. The new inclusions, you know, how do they fare? And a brand here, your friend Rodrigo's situation, you know, akoye bibia ho Andra what means say yes. Position na ya na obono. Ye a brand here, your friend Brahim Diaz edini frimo. Na omo yi ni frim na dodo na hwesa nka abranche a ye friend Rodrigo Goes na nka bebam na nso wa mam ama Argentina ni akoda weso a na omo de ne ba mu a chese obesi akan ma chese otimi nse players a wo so mo bonu bi apobi except abranche a ye friend no Rodrigo Goes itino ye be hwe na ye di hu komo na fi ya hwe se the time a transfer window ni be close no abranche ni betumi still at was say bibia so no ebe koyi anase enkoyi me no ka say na okọ Leverkusen no ma ye two signings quick one pa ma be fa akoda weso abako na sa akoda weso awe the etene say under 17 omo boy ema I think Germany na je under 17 omo boy Germany je I think last year and I said last 2 years. 2 players and na amount for come asem pa. A brand friend William Estival. And a brand friend Estival. And I need dinner then. Estival ne Man City. Me pese me nya din na afi dodo na hu player na American wasem. They were the 17 boys na ase enino den ewo mo Claudio Echeverri. No ono ewo River Plate. Yes. Our River Plate obebo under 17. E pese me hwe year no bo under 17 no. Year no bo under 17 no na fi mohu utimu se one abrante a yefre no William Estival. Now that competition tournament no ba wie no. Sa tournament no ba wie no. He was basically the player na come akwa say okay kobo Olympic Games na bi so. Pese me hwe under 17 no. 2023, that's 2 years ago. Yes, 2 years ago. Yes, 2 years ago. Utimun say enyasem keto akra. Ojinidin ye papa. Now the hype was between Ono and William Estival, but it appears omo development omo growth no. One thing is Ono joining Man City in term nti oba Man City wa na so mo de ne fa training mu e na Chelsea ma abrante William Estival continue so obe grow ewo Palmeiras or Cologne ewo Bayer Leverkusen and Estival and people are pushing also starting my Chelsea against West Ham United. It's not how you start it, how you manage your life till the end, you know, and the most important thing, because that particular under 17, I was invested in that particular under 17. I want to tell the cover, but I strike midfielder team bia or no so I could say
Leslie.
And you Okuchukwu. omo kofa midfielder titin TV. Oh yeah, say either Senegal say titin to omo de no cross Strasbourg say onkoye trials so then. So obeka after na 17 na he's the first player Chelsea signing here. Aha. Ehona sa competition na mu na abrante no obeji ni din wo ho. Aha, enti no. Yes. Omo enti eye obi a wa gene din papa sa competition. I remember obeka say Germany energy Germany share Argentina penalties 4-2 on penalties. Yes, enya asem ketu akra anti won say ono na ball no she number 10 edma boboku a ye frɛ no Argentina. Yes, Argentina na wo hwɛ team no dia obi an hyɛ dan yiniti sa obi an hyɛ dan yiniti Germany for no obi an hyɛ dan yin no mo striker longo bi pa nyezi obi an hyɛ dan yiniti but two players we na yi omutiti ye hwɛ how they are going to fare ewo omo life Endra na otimi say yes PFA awards na to me ye dan eba so ekoyi best player and a team of the season ene de keka ho ye bewram na afi ya hwehwehwe mu a Real Madrid game no maka wasam ye bewra no so mo na afi transfers kakra eno so ewo ho no mo no Kanacho de Almadi kankan say Man United midfielder ben and I say omo pendro ye ba beka abrante aye frɛ no Lucien Agome ho asam ultimate and hype no so ye papa Man United hwɛ limu so me de ombekọ akoye na ye behwɛ Man United team no amanfo bebre na bomaba so ato ene ye behwɛ say is the current squad no one you see the midfielder at least ba ko be count technically gifted and good midfielder ba ko be count. That is why Baleba abrante aye friend no Agume so din den ba be na muni ade ya be so no omo de be count ho a would the squad no be enough to at least finish in the top 4 and answer den tie be hwe. Shall we show me live on Facebook? My bet, no what in tem kakra. My bet, no what in tem kakra. Na the African I then asoso. Oko Facebook wana biuma ABN Radio 1. ABN Radio 1. Oh Facebook. Na street is watching so Facebook. Afi oko TikTok sports.arena.news. Sports.arena.news. It's a previews no before matches ne ba be bazo na omo bowia a previews never try say be TikTok live mum na fe bibia so na tumi aden akoye e wo no ti channel so pa for my aha sa so na a Telegram account no Sports Arena na bibia atumi akoye na fe online my bet online radio oko YouTuber MYBET.AFRICA TV. Oko my best shops bia me no ka say a oma project here me da so totwe a enye asem keto akra wo ho no ebusafo me chiamo
lift also
yen hwe my bet education ne kakra na afi yen fan sam no nto aso.
Okay, so I my better education there in say season has started the energy any dynamic because season has started then ya ska eba beto boys bottom. Inti se upe bebi etwa bet ho beto wa time bia metufu MYBET.AFRICA na se utwa bet ho. Ya so ahwe ni ehu se ni MYBET emedwumate. Ye wo show yisu ni ebe mo obi almost getting to 3 billion wa manage kodi ye. Inti ene se u diska kese sa na unsuro se ni afi ni eba be grand audit na o slip na ba be yira hwehwe ahunhu company ni se kofa BC results kra bra na fa be verify there be MYBET there. So far say o slip ni wo ho na bet no wedi na boni bi eni echi ana bibi eni echi there o meta musika ama nti ene ope bebi etwa bet akọ www.mybet.africa now so register na beken busua no registration process ni very simple 3 simple steps now they register aba be come MYBET busua. The first thing o phone number the audio mobile money transactions nti ene ise wudi a no wetimi yi scan aba be two phone so boko enya afi na ukone nam no obi akwa ko hu se ukute scheme mu edu se we dey kwan we be two phones so na the way you kakra. The next one your username bit me your nickname bit me your din bia pese we use but say obo na bia mo ka say din no bia fa de da be two for say now the number ba ko me no account to last two numbers a phone number ne to no now the account say never man unique compared to other people on platform. So now if you work the next step password the bones say actual password no matter confirm password one ni na the crow obo password ni we are what confirm password no abo and also the same password now boy what bashing what register so afide no anu no why instant my best for best send verification code now they verify account number baby came busian we are login na platform na fe and they year into the second game and I game weeks no my best for catch also almost 3 options in a waiting their bomb platform ababika in the games ne course wa it will be a teams in the kind share team we trying the cheaper Atletico with the kind share no atena hwa ni ababet titi and winning my best on the early payout aba kwa early payout option is straight with option no or tini a difference ni kitu ebi to for early payout and now one to o fair no team ni share ya na afidi waju sika na okọ nti use early payout area weekend you now to feature better on MYBET.AFRICA oh yeah bet slip selections bebre no na aka bonus ni ka ho emu peja up to 1500% and I'll bet me nya on MYBET.AFRICA other platforms name 1000 but my bet say the 500% na for count my selections ni bebre na so ma osika mu enye du my platform bi wa bet ni share anything enu nti omo de bet feet aba e ho ko ho a MYBET afa expect enye nipa ba ko bebre eno ma hye bet egu obekọ bet over 10,000 egu ofa de wo pe a na afi de wa hwe odds no so pe 2 or 2 per 5 or 2 per 10,000 odds ofa ba ko a wa betimi a edit aye changes ba ko mi now discard taichi now so afiska umpe we mi ni ma de a to join MYBET.AFRICA now so be come busu ya no say ne ye fiska now so fe bi eno ene ye onuado.
Right, it's one more day and join here MYBET.AFRICA MYBET.AFRICA nafi register bomodia or register na wecha bet no menya ni bre out of 2 na de kakra guso wudi 1 cedi kra MYBET no wadi no ti menya ni bre for na enye se kwa kope 7 billion esa obesisa satins we bre obon se ba akwa ye de akwa se no nti hyɛ no so yɛ papa mfama moment hyɛ nsɛm na sɛ
okay nti yɛnhwɛ free Real Madrid game on board I think Indra me can say we share these two teams are performance wise on the last 2 meetings scoreline it me akọ 4-0 but we share OSASUNA preseason games on boy to this league on Babe start here defensively am very solid in this game me hear say scoreline Real Madrid beat me win but I'm not seeing say goals in the bedo so say 4-0 ni and the yellow card was something I was expecting in this game to bet my bet option am mine my Real Madrid to win under 3.5 and a yellow cards of over 2.5 yellow cards be brand I think Alonso to me the basic thing so to me your first game in the La Liga winning 3 points now for the only other teams in there Empreso and in the lineup or bar or the in there the likes of Militao any Dean Horse and I think since the end any defensive partnership going forward maybe say Rudiger Mobabaka he would see what he would do but so that was where our interest was Valverde, Chouameni, Adagule and I think Indra Oshe form wise omutimi maintain game ni finfin ball no and omanya ne basa on ball movement getting the ball up front ya de ba kwa bibia timi koye the only issue am menyae ameba into details Ibrahim Diaz starting I think Indra went me nya a good day amame though say okreti 2 chances that is the most ever game no and the passing accuracy it's me 100% senior in Ibrahim Diaz is very good on the ball but I think say performance wise on the right wing position how effective I saw here because Alexander Arnold will overlap and so ultimately Bemu create a lot of chances and making sure so ultimately ball ultimately share go ultimately boy Real Madrid Bandra meant me who that performance from him and I ultimately am koye tina me say Rodrigo betimi aba but Rodrigo so ultimately am bem and me bemu into details o share that is OSASUNA setup now this is a similar setup omoko with a 3 back in fin pad of 5 na play a friend with Budime Ediomenim into Budime Ediomenim there is a long balls into the box and the crosses no more some bit in the I think Alonso Real Madrid team way one thing I'm seeing Listo was this season we wouldn't see a lot of goals from them because Osha up front partnership is still for over 2 years when still I had to say they are not getting to understand the movement of each other. I see a lot of problems. Indra, a lot of chances. A big box, there is no player available. Omunina, they are more of wingers, the likes of Vinicius, Kylian Mbappe, person omuji ball, no omudi box room, and it will cost them. I don't know. Nendra, I was expecting Gracia to start. Indra went to me and started, but I think it was business as usual with me and the 3 points with a goal, La Liga network. So at least on any other teams, no more preno. There are 3 points on the marker. In their games going forward, I think SSC team a good balance in the setup. Now for the Real Madrid team needs to team fan into my prefer. Apart from Brahim Diaz, I think Alexander Arnold is going to me a good night. In the 68th minute, NOE no de Cabal, but I think a lot of 40 passes from his end. Especially, I mean, him said La Liga being the first game for him, Hana, but a lot of 40 passes. I think going into the season, or be adapted to the La Liga, and himself Alexander Arnold, the player, he comes with quality, and he brings a lot to their game and performance. With Rodrigo, after the game, Xabi Alonso can say it's just a game, one game. Nah, it doesn't decide anything towards the players. We may find any season because on who is a game na tactically na on here Rodrigo at that time and we no call for other players coming in. But I think say this issue of course watch it. If Real Madrid person decided on Rodrigo future, they need to decide it and decide it well. I think the conversation in the media would keep on asking. So Rodrigo minute, the media will keep on asking. At the intina one ball, at the intina went me a minute, at the intina maybe once na bench. And this will be something that Kopim said they would come out and say we are willing to sell the player or player no in the future and that stable. So they are looking at him going. No, the questions will keep on coming. And I'm a bit surprised because Osha Rodrigo in this Real Madrid team from time of joining him from Brazil, he has been one player you wouldn't hear controversies about him. So now I don't know if the issue is from the board, from the president, because there are two coaches coming in and still the player is not starting games and is not getting minutes. So meaning is a major issue where they need to sort out the players' contracts. Now after there, so be move or maybe any club, the likes of Man City, the likes of Arsenal, and they almost some bit me transfer. I one or two additions be or they need to sort out and make sure say boy no maybe your person corner on the home better no. Yera AC Milan and now no pay. Oma Chenya Hoyland ni ma omo nti free Rasmus Hoyland or because negotiation between Omo and Man U maybe di
we say yen share Real Madrid game. Yeah. O share game no.
Yes, we share game.
So after what o share
yeah.
The defensive okay, obviously the goalkeeper will obviously be in post. Yeah. Now Rudiger is not around. I think Jordi Alaba so as well around. How was the defensive approach? The midfield combination without Jude, the up front. How was she the up front? No. Do you think this will be going into the season? This is going to be the lineup or the bedroom, and how do you see Real Madrid faring in the season?
Yes, I think in that game, no so defensively they were solid, but they met a team and now on being said Obama a lot of pressure. Into the ball possession now Real Madrid quit 71, now Osasuna quit 29. So meaning say they didn't have much of the ball. And expected goals Osasuna was 0.36, meaning they didn't create enough chances to even get up front. Now once Osasuna ball just too short in the game. Into defensively, yet me in fact just this game and value on how they performed well. But I think I saw some good partnership between Militao and Edin Hausen. And I think they were complementing each other so well in the game, which said I'm a kind of Osasuna didn't give a lot of attacking threats into me establishing so they built a good partnership going forward. Yeah, but in Finfin I think in Drum a lot of balance in the middle, with Wanemi covering grounds for them. He covered a lot of grounds. There are times Alexander Arnold echoing in him, even time I cover out beam there were times to call any man. You could see that Wanemi was covering those grounds for them, which I think I saw a lot of balance in that setup, especially in the midfield setup, no, because Valverde will do that box to box work for you. Ada Goulet, ebe more that running or that playmaker rule or going to the final third. I was obeying Miyama enough chances share on the night their front and Anami were a bit of a problem with it. Because even in the second half, no, Sunday Gracia Bayan, still we're seeing Kylian Mbappe leading the line, which I was a bit surprised because in their game, anytime they are born, they could do Vinicius, so and there will be maybe a cross or a pass into that 18-yard box of Osasuna, no, you wouldn't see a Real Madrid player there. And it continued that till even the 80th, 90th minute of the game. It meaning said this is something that you can't go into a game against a big team where you be crossing balls into the box. You wouldn't find a number 9 or even a player in there. And maybe they miss a player like Jude Bellingham, because in himself Jude Bellingham, the box to box running, finding himself in that 18-yard box, or be finding that ball and that final touch into the goal post near the back, which me had done in some seasons back at Real Madrid. And yesterday they were missing Jude Bellingham in that middle, finding that final pass. No, saying you bit me do arrive here, it's me about Bonatum. I think their performance in Drano, I wouldn't value it much, especially going into the season. But I'm looking at Xabi Alonso's setup, how they set up, One thing I can tell is they'll find it very difficult to score goals. That is one thing I'm looking, the way they are setting up. They find it very difficult to score goals. And if they meet tougher opponents like the Barcelonas, like maybe the Espanyol, the Atletico Madrid, they will give them a lot of pressure. Because if you are playing against a team like Osasuna, which are born now, say dominating, but born now beating me, but you are not creating enough chances. Your shot on target are a bit lower. A problem. Because say opponents in the age of ball now, you need to create a lot of chances, get a lot of corners on the night. But then you couldn't see much corners from them. 7 corners in the game, shot on target on boy was just 5. It shows the way they weren't able to grip or take hold of the game. I think going on to the season, say one or two changes they can benefit from their attack or more. But if it goes this way, I'm not seeing them winning the La Liga.
Okay, yeah,
yes. In the AC Milan, Sena Mekano, Omone Hoyland in common, that was one of the best loan any obligation or option to buy Amihu in the last 2 transfer windows. They were willing to give Man United 5 million transfer, that's loan fee. Now at the end of the season, no more here. So bet you have 30 million for Hoyland. Now Hoyland salary, and said transfer they mostly say a loan club ne check maybe to 30%, I mean to 70, and then 50-50 because who person player and call yensu yenya service I pay. And they were willing to pay the full salary of Hoyland, meaning say Man United will take Hoyland's salary for a whole year off their books. Into Man United, there was a good offer for them. For the player, he was not willing to move. Into Bessie and AC Milan gusu train say Hoyland be reply on say ene magia tum se meba and I member. Emma AC Milan a train ma list was say o ma bre. Nti ena no pay o me wiem no ne ban Leverkusen e di nkomo on player your friend Victor Boniface. Na ohwe proposal o ma present am Victor Boniface salary ni nyama emu edu ye. Nti as a player and there wagia tum so nya AC Milan obeko. Na Bayern Leverkusen ni AC Milan ase ankomo na kwakodi so. Ohwe Bayern Leverkusen their last 3 preseason games o ma ba. Victor Boniface didn't get enough minutes. Senior so unya in a player ebianka next season or be starting for Eric Ten Hag team. Into ne wagia tum so unya AC Milan team no bebo. Ama bibia kika ko ya. Senior nyama kika ko no enye mo say by the end of the transfer window Victor Boniface beat me ako joining AC Milan. They lead the attack with the likes of Jimenez more up front. Any other players say Rafael Leao to make sure some beboa Allegri team na mo metimi replicate that championship winning team or mutimi create ya nyama etimi ko ye wo. Nti ye AC Milan beat me this papa akoma Bayern Leverkusen. Now all my transfers back they would need to also balance their books omo he some bet to enyama ye. Yemwe mu ewo that is one player ne honsem abemu pa, that is player a friend of Alexander Isak. Na Indra the PFA ni course or awards ni course no or the statement be ba bontin. Na the statement or the ba bontin minim say also bet me the statement na atoso ama me ani ewe mu kakra. With the statement or the ba bontin, that is the first one. The statement or the ba bontin no e wo the to the Instagram page. Or the to the Instagram page enam enoso no ne fans any omo mudi Newcastle China etimi hu ye. Newcastle fans na etimi hu ye na statement ne tintin ni na ne say player ne person o che say enei enye say maybe boapaye no ye say watwen ama Newcastle transfer window ni ko na wi ye no and why na dwen so this statement be ba bontin so person o ko there bi, but it was an agreement on a club ni enyae. And the agreement led to say, oh, yeah, you'll be movie this summer. So if there's any offer for the player or person, and the statements no or Danny this say I didn't went to me amba ceremony near not on feel right because as a player no in semi also with the club with him personally no feel say on to me dress and betna and award show as in best say maybe ebi oba be award in Tiana so ba baby but he felt say till say situation no betimi asolve a man ho ato no o needs that right state of mind to go to event or even go to that public gathering sir. Now after all this statement we beto abontin echeche mu e ma ahwefo na ehu say enye say maybe you atena ho no person obo Newcastle abo but oni o medi nkomo into details ama Newcastle wa che ade ope na afi de o chire wie no still de ope no omo nyema no omo wie na Newcastle and so at this statement so ba abontin na Newcastle statement no mechanic say it was more of a diplomatic type of statement to make their fans understand say ene omehu Isaac social media post na waye no but on their side uhwemu a omuni player need nkomo but anything na ombeye no it should be in the interest of the club inti ene say wagya to mu say unya ya obekọ a enye no ane say unya ya obekọ nti obi discafia bi ba omunjai ma wonko da bi but omun so hwe say it should be a particular thing a betimi abo as a club getting in players in to replace you, making sure say you go wouldn't affect them, especially in the Champions League season or into Newcastle statements. No sure it was more of a diplomatic one, trying to express Isaac's statement no make him and also make it feel say and yes maybe ya chichiri say empesi maneko but if there is a right offer bar omubetimi jai amanako so they are looking at offers ebeba. And if it will suit their demands, they will allow the player to move. Now, this will share in some way from the player side and from the club side. I think am I a good overview of in BBI Ekoso. And with in some Ekoso, I would say I'm a bit disappointed in Newcastle. I didn't make us I'm a bit disappointed in Newcastle. And they say fine. We were all bashing Isaac time and same way by. So I didn't know what now. Newcastle not or targeted that is Hugo Ekitike. What now ama Newcastle? Elusu Hugo Ekitike and sana with this statement eba abontin say new person call. And why I'm saying say I'm putting or I'm partially blaming Newcastle on this. Say if the player had a conversation with you on him moving then you should have made clubs or mubebemu so mu person mu tono aware say the player is for sale at this amount you be turn. As of now, at the entire Liverpool still intimate bid for Alexander Isak. They said there is still the statement there the player is not for sale towards Liverpool. The player feels say coming out after the Hugo Ekitike transfer was a bold statement to make the fans, to make everybody supporting him feel say yes on the side no he has done his part but the club is avoiding for him to move out, which I think say yes. On the player side, coming out wasn't also good because that's client and remember I said club and player privilege. It covers all these things. So if things are going on the way you don't like her, you can go to the board or go to a high hierarchy, talk to them and try and get things moving. But Sisiano, the relationship between the player and the club, I say, as of now, Bibia Diego, and Newcastle they have only two options as of now: to keep the player till Omube Fele say we can integrate him into the team, or to keep him so Omube Fele say bet him ye delay or now sell him to a good suitable club. They can make enough money and also continue with their other transfers on person way. And this transfer relates equally to Wissa, also from Brentford, because on BCN he's not training with the squad. He hasn't been available to be added to the squad because on also person free Brentford. And he's waiting for Newcastle. Say ne ombetimi atoto mbibia no munso obetimi aiden ababefano. But ene anope information eba abontin say with Ouattara moving to Brentford no eya de ba ko ebie kwan ama Wissa and Yohan Wissa say ne san transfer request or dia to so person call that is Newcastle no bibia ebetimi akoye. Into this weekend game on Bebo no he will still not be in the squad for Brentford. But they are looking at negotiating with Newcastle. They can now get the player moving to Newcastle, not Munzwa Musika, and concentrate on other transfers. So with Alexander Isak, Newcastle we need the saga, need the transfer saga list to the end of this transfer window. It will depend on how long Newcastle person mukuta adienu. Because with the player coming out with another statement, meaning say the first statement no the buy, he hasn't seen any improvement, so he's coming out with another one. And this is also something like a caution to Newcastle, a caution to the player, because in the end, other suitors or mobile for one, they are looking at the player's character. Ochinabino, unsunya intawantawa bia. Are we expecting to see information as a kanu kukuemu going on social media or being around that ubia and subetimi abim? And one example this type of transfer, it was William Gallas against Chelsea. Time or catch Chelsea, say quite be as no or person or class now. So this image never to amamia. William Gallas to move to Arsenal. Maybe I mean mouse. Inti William Gallas there no or catch Chelsea say. William Gallas there no information on the two Emma Chelsea need to also far to mame. O ma Chelsea for I say kwan bia so no say Chelsea for man kwan ma na nko Chelsea for ma na nko Arsenal before their first game of City bebo a or catch on to be she ungo etia Chelsea. Senior into end that's why we obi abetimi here. That was a statement that William Gallas said to Chelsea. The relationship between the club and the player at that time. Ekoya be testing Isaac any Newcastle the any year no. So at the end na say Chelsea etimi negotiate no mutimi jane kwan man ko and na menu so na Chelsea di timi nya Ashley Young after that no their kai be a history. So I think say this is something Newcastle Alexander Isaac and Torah just mutimi tinase etimi solve ya dey we ma bibia etimi koye wo ho yenhwe Nottingham Forest any Douglas Costa nso nya something similar to say Isaac Adiewe oni Juventus papa sa on player discipline in nyama and na menu so no enei na Juventus fire Madrid say kwan bia so no player no on beton no be enye say player no mu hia ne nti no omu terminate the contract da because o under contract to Juventus enei Nottingham Forest the 30 million aboyem ako Juventus o makwakofa Douglas Luiz aba o share Douglas Luiz in 2 seasons ago no Ginema Aston Villa one of their key players of Boama Aston Villa qualify for that Champions League or mutimi qualify Douglas Luiz intino enam enoso no oye ene wetimi eba be wema we ginemu obo ama team efre Nottingham Forest into the first game on bebo next week no obetimi ginema bobi na I think his transfer no so also a back and forth on player wants to move club name peno but the club is not willing to terminate his contract and ameno so any wetimi abu nikete mababe pie ewo team a friend of Nottingham Forest Kolo Muani on Juventus for so otwen Newcastle aboyem say they are willing to pay any amount e betimi atwe free Paris Saint-Germain about Newcastle and the striker won sem be problem but ono so na dream say kwan bia so no he is waiting for Juventus. So omni PSG be negotiate bibia na bibia etima koye nti least over getting to the end of the transfer windows there you been a lot of transfer sagas the Alexander Isaac Newcastle Kolo Muani Juventus and so enena monchen Alejandro Garnacho send your boy to Chelsea in the last 48 hours Bayern Munich had the offer by he has rejected it. He says he wants to play in the Premier League and wants to play for Chelsea until I think we'll get one of the most exciting ending of the transfer windows we are chef for mushe showing na the details be here and so ebe bro mewa
okay well yeah share
listo mami chat here for na mensa so mama kwa ba send money man kind no and NG MYBET.AFRICA champion money man listo I think say no Madrid game I mean watching the game especially in the first 20 minutes me take a lot of never be every game anymore, especially tactically and I mean the embodiment of the team. I mean as a whole. On Sports Arena looks like AS Dario probable lineup. It seems and I was very happy for Franco Mastantano making his debut and Medicanca chose for a South American player Waji Dinwo Nikrum, seen as one of the best players with potential, so bet me about the second Lionel Messi for Argentina. It tells you a lot. And for the team, the parents to let a 17-year-old boy to agree to come and join Real Madrid, no. Medican said for you to be able to get these boys, a assurance, no project, and whatever plans you have for them. In Georgia, when Neymar was coming from Santos, he came straight into the Barcelona team that had Messi, Iniesta, and Xavi. Obi to say Vinicius Junior, Urbano, he didn't even get straight into the starting lineup, but he had minutes. Obi to say Estavao and Mamemfa Santos. Then an example, when Andre Santos was coming to Chelsea, at that time he was Brazil under-20s captain. Now the Omako tournament, Akwaji the top scorer. At the Omasanso tournament. So when he was coming, Nadine then said, "Oh, if Casemiro any for me, we have a number 6, more than number 6. Wait me about Asanso the numbers. I can't remember. Santos on any height, but he's very good in the air, especially running into the box. So when about Chelsea, Saturn and Chelsea after Romeo Lavia, any Moises Caicedo, and they also have Enzo Fernandez and Adam Mendes at their disposal. So they believe that they will need him to get that Europe exposure, because position of the ball who need that exposure in Europe, and especially the Premier League exposure. Not even more. Something called loan or not time for his sister. He wasn't getting playing time because coach the style of playing didn't need a player like Andre Santos. Chelsea for Kofa and money for us because we promised the parents any however is oba obenya playing time. Even on your playing time, we have ways and means to integrate him for him to play as much as possible for him to come. Indeed, Franco Mastantuano, and no, I can say he's not coming to be a Castilla player. Despite the jersey number and what have you, he's coming to be a player that Yabebo sees there in one ball crowd 20 to 25 appearances there. It will be our brand in the name. And the Kwakuba say, not just say Rodrigo and Itiati. And your World Cup season, every player wants to play in the World Cup. And Rodrigo, if he doesn't get playing time, because in the Kwakwa say, Serafia Eko, the Brazil national team now, he's not going to start from where he's starting at Barcelona, or best starting from the right side. Now they have Estavao. They have a lot of other wingers who are also aspiring. Say they also get playing time. Obi say Anthony say, listo. Se Carlo Ancelotti can say Oye collab. No, the last season performance here, they will definitely call Anthony. Boakoboma Rebetis. So if Anthony finding a club before I call World Cup the performance, it means that the right side hono e hakwa pile pa. Nti Obi say Rodrigo. I mean, akwa clear. Some money man can say Madrid for nyanya clear. You see, Madrid Enyan can say he's not for sale, and the player has to find a club or person. Maybe he believes that in the course of the season he can get his playing time. But from what I've seen, is to unless maybe or developing by a player that the coach will like at the right side. I only Franco Masuntuano be chabo, and yes, sir. Looking at the kind of players a coach in the boy Brahim Diaz and Franco no, Rodrigo Asumbeshi now into the game. In pre-season, and I'm explaining Madrid for almost 3 different times. Maybe the player selection here ain't the same, but in the build-up, tactical setup and everything is different. I remember during the pre-season, maybe Liverpool for how they've been setting up with Kekes. And I think that game in your friend point, it was Bradley. And no, I saw similar thing with Real Madrid team in the list. So more air building up from very low from their half. The 2 defenders no, which is Dean Harrison and Eder Militao, are forming the base. Then they will have the left back and the right back moving into midfield to join Obitize Aurelien Tchouameni to form that 3-man midfield. Almost a 2-3-5 formation at Madrid for the ball. But the moment they will get closer to the post, that is when, if one of the wingers ever drop your inside, then Alvaro Carreras or Trent Alexander-Arnold will go and hold the weight. It's almost a tiapa with 2 defenders, Carreras, Trent, and Tchouameni, and you're close in midfield. So when they form that 3 midfield base, we almost say Vinny Jr. I hold the weight at that side. Brahim Diaz are holding the weight on the far end. Then Kylian Mbappe, Ada Gula, then Freddy Valverde right behind Kylian Mbappe up front. So even if boy 5 back, they are still in possession. They have a lot of players in the midfield, and they also have players at the wide areas. It is a very good formation, very good setup for them. If they meet any other team or midfield dominated, they can still have, because at that moment you have Tchouaméni, Valverde, and also Arda Güler with Obi say Trent Alexander-Arnold and Alvaro Carreras in midfield. Overload. And also having skillful players holding the weight. Now the thing is, Listo, if you look at this Madrid team, they are missing somebody with a vision, somebody with that explicit pass from Obi to say Modric to Toni Kroos, and it's something they are missing. In terms of midfield, they say we show the defenders, Tchouaméni ni able as a box-to-box player, Arda Güler able as the number 10 role. I mean, unlike that creativity, no. Nanka Modric and Toni Kroos the Bemao. He's a very fine player. Maybe say Bellingham Bama, he will give you that box presence. And the Listo, and no means that Madrid lucky a lot was their box presence. And if you are playing Kylian Mbappe as the number 9, always if on number 10 and yes cover up in the box, you always miss that person in the box. Look as you said a team or a low block. OSASUNA didn't come into the game. Say be a woman repair a win. Low block, mid block, then finish Kylian Mbappe, who is a striker, Galis, always stay in between the 3 center backs, to give every running in behind. He wasn't doing that. Anytime you are there, will be in possession, board attacking third or phase 3 phase 4 behind. He running the far right or the far left. No, will leave you the space in behind and in front of the box. No, so that is why Madrid almost find it very difficult to create chances. And the young one said they only had one big chance in the game. So Madrid team Listo, in terms of midfield, however they are playing, Omunya Tomuasi, Edu Abel team say Arda Güler both about this side, do because no so Omunya see that the chemistry behind Arda Güler, Valverde, and Tchouaméni, when to go, who to stay, who to support, who to go the far right, who to support Vinicius Junior, and I had the home. Now to the attacking Listo, I think they are not balanced. They are not balanced because Brahim Diaz will hold the weight. Now Vinicius Junior will hold the weight. Mbappe I'll be now with the support of Valverde ni Arda Güler. Now also Onya how person born. Ababe steps normally clueless in the game. They are just possessing whites. They will improve under Alonso. That said no muhuno under Carlo Ancelotti. They will possess the ball very well. Tactically, they will be disciplined. Than Carlo, they are not all rely on the pace and individual play. And I think that Listo, Vinicius Junior and Medika Kamadi team easy. 2 great players can coexist in a team. 2 great players can coexist in a team. But the moment these 2 great players, Baku Obia Pese onye the face, Obia Pese onye as a young one, only the leader of the team. That is where I saw several cases, several instances are Listo. No senka Kylian Mbappe should do the ball once. No or yin kechibi. Several instances are no senka Vinicius Junior or some command 1v1 a game eba on top, and he couldn't do that. And there's a reason why if a coach ever can play a holding waiter, he believes that player no eba no 1v1 situations that player is very good. And I was expecting Obi to say Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Junior to do that job. But then no Listo, Vini and Tima nye ejuma no send na me expect obey. And there are several games a coach or a tactical can do baby and Kylian Mbappe had giving him. I think at that time no me Vinicius Junior free mo. And I think that was the system minute more baby. And I was like, I now understand why Luis Enrique Vinicius Junior Kylian Mbappe, he didn't even care about Kylian Mbappe going, because he will give you the goals. He's a star man or a player defend the Biabe. But collectively on what team no and no nyabo be listo of me the video that say so team that to someone. O yin keche baku mienu bi o. Out of cheap player anywhere. At the far end, Alvaro Carreras and Madrid were 2 players. If Sabo Koya and Kamadi would have even taken a lead, 2 goals. But of we are not so you can fans near hey na no appear one their Kwakuma player no about right back. No. I don't know if that was Cavalier or Trent Alexander-Arnold. You understand? So team na there Alonso will and it will be very difficult for him to catch up with Obitze Barcelona. What the most important thing in the game, Onyaye, the 3 points as a coach, new first game in the La Liga, we're taking the 3 points, whether or share more than 3 goals or share more than 2 goals, but he made sure so Obe secure the 3 points. And that penalty incident, me person be amaka say bia na ye penalty, but then Kylian Mbappe was so smart that we box many anytime many can say we a striker no box man feel like a king. Because the moment the player ever make it so best slide, obe make any hard tackle, obe me see the ball biana, obe hanya a contact no. You the striker no. You get your infringement now penalty obenya. So with Madrid team no listo. Defense clear that Chouameni Adam Militao and Dean Hoyson, they understand compliment very much so well. In midfield, if say Bellingham Beba, I would want to see them say they will play and understand how the coach wants them to play for them to make some creative chances, because Ada Gule, he's not been doing that Mesut Ozil or Juman over expected of it, but he's a very fine player. That deep line playmaking role no Auburn and he had a bit but then he had some crucial shooting beer. Oh yeah, I think say a one. But Vinicius Junior Listo and one the 1v1 situation, it wasn't the A game. The only player back I said no Jibo to me dribble and the skills was Kylian Mbappe. And if Vinicius Junior will continue like this, and no Gonzalo Garcia Bemu, when you any chance be but oppressive will be my ball control, then the will be able to say and Alonso was clapping for that young chap. If it continues like this, now Vinicius Junior 1v1 situations on to me create chances there will be moments when Franco Masontano air start here, Alvaro Gonzalo Garcia or even Endrick Ba no to me about so bit about that number 9 rule na amania so video no so video na competitive that so then Gonzalo Garcia ebe start here. It means that Vinicius Junior will lose his place to Kylian Mbappe. And many can say, Mbappe for na clear say, Mbappe at the age of 8 won the World Cup. At the Champions League. Now all these two players will be a Ballon d'Or naji. So for you to win the Ballon d'Or, that's about the Belgian Champions League. The best player from the team they will say, yeah, the man got the Ballon d'Or. And it's something that a bit critique, and I think that Vinicius Junior, I don't know. Say also money a game in the Basel. Obit say Kylian Mbappe there. He's been giving them the goals or best starters in number 9. And no, there is one we Vinicius says be on person motor. But between that two players, so who one of Vinicius or Kylian Mbappe, from Gonzalo Garcia, Abebo as number 9, you will determine who is playing well in the game. A game will come that maybe Kylian Mbappe will be out of the game, but Vinicius will be the manner or Bobo Nia or maybe Mbappe from Eddie Gonzalo Garcia the above. So there's so much Mr. Free Madrid team anymore. They are tactically phase 1. How a coach they dominating the game. They are trying to keep up to get that job done. But then again, in midfield, almost like that compactability. They are not so compact, but then again, their principles, their system, and everything in place. And also, I think about common sense say any more any balance. Maybe if you are Jude Bellingham, maybe be some difference. But as of now, it is not balanced. And for me, this is the boy I'm talking about. Look at Kylian Mbappe. When you can charge 2 players, see the players there. See, I think that was Ada Gule. Players will hold. Watching player back. The third one. See. 3 players. The other 5 Obian can. But see, when you catch at that time, you're watching so. But if you're the ball come, the ball come the right back. Well, come on, Trent Alexander-Arnold. And these things, individual brilliance and but you see, collectively, it doesn't help the team. Second, the man Ada Gule was even closer to him than Trent and Alexander-Arnold. And Ada Gule nya ebono. Say if Obe carry ball to 5 meters behind, a bit more create chance. Ediama Vinicius Junior and that player now in front of him.
You know Ada Gule could be any.
Yes, Ada Gule was complaining. See, He was complaining. So to me, anyone lack balance and a lot of tactical discipline out there. If they are going to, these people are going to continue like this. Let's say Edu Baby, let's say Alonso for the next war, say Maston Tuano, say Brahim Diaz, say Gonzalo Garcia on a better tactically discipline to give Madrid Adena. I think that at the end of the day, some of the Madrid fans would be unhappy. So be benchy almost star players. Yes. And Madrid has been built for that. Galacticos. But if Ube to Galacticos now, you have to win. And Obeba Baby, no, individual brilliance will win you trophy. But if Alonso wants to be tactical, no so untrained, he has to be bold and bench some players and play some of the players that tactically they will give the team balance. And team is the basa. They are balanced. Second one voice situations are always Lame Yama games the Muyadin. Almost shutting to low blocker. That is when the magic never man for Bonnie. Obe making magic. Defensively, midfield, they are compact, they are disciplined. So this is a team that only phase 2. The first season was League or Champions League or semi-final. I think I was best at there. So if we top stars, some craft phobia because we are in the same team, but looks as if we are in the competition. So man will also affect the team. And they have to address that. If coach now you board and addresses Animano, say Kylian Mbappe airborne 9. He should always try and be in the box striker. So on Jina box, whoever is playing as that number 9 should try and help him. I guess our uncle for a 2-top. And that will help if Jude Bellingham ever. But to me, Vinicius Junior and Kylian Mbappe, if they really want to win a trophy, because at the end of the day, it's a Ballon d'Or money they face no more in happen. If Ombe individual is a they are Bobby or her, say Mbappe, APM Vinicius, when Vinicius was angry. 5 minutes, 6 minutes when they give Vinicius in your Bob, no one so try to be shooting. If they don't win trophies, both of this team, or met now hard and they won't win the Ballon d'Or. Now, Copa Mamone Estavio Mone Lame Yamamo, after how Beji a year Ballon d'Or de Jamu. Now, listen, let me finalize on Newcastle ne Alexander Isak. And then Isak statement what about came out not as if be only Newcastle for now Kokunya some Tokobia and Bibisa, but he came out because he had been nominated or he has been selected as part of the England for best players of more England. And he has to address why he couldn't come to the ceremony. And I think say whatever a bear winning and me we knew and medical baby explaining so promises I broke it down and I break it down whatever the player also mentioned in the statement. Say also bet him the statement not to someone then now I'm making some points. So for those who have been with us for all this while, they know that Mababe explaining a year Alexander Isak any Newcastle situation. This is Newcastle there. Alexander Isak any Newcastle issue. When Saudi PIF for Public Investment Fund for no better 85% share in Newcastle team. My man in Amanda, no only Ruben, who is currently the 15% shareholder or Newcastle team. They were minority owners. Our team anymore. But then Amanda, when Omoba year reshuffling in the management, any whatever view, Amanda Nini Kunukodosi was part of the sporting. They were acting as the sporting directors, and they bought Alexander Isak, Bruno Gomares, Sandro Tonali to this team. So this is Mami Amanda Nini Kunukodosi and Abranta and Alexander Isak. They had a very good relationship with Alexander Isak because when I'm going for free a year, Resus had died. He wasn't now Alexander Isak wasn't a player because team Bia Okakubo Biaro now or your hits. Isak failed at Dortmund. Even at Real Sociedad, he wasn't consistent. He wasn't giving them 15, 20, 15, 14, 15 goals at Real Sociedad. But he had the potential. And Oba, especially in first season, goals are Isak Yema, and they started comparing to Alan Shearer, who is the club top ever scorer. And the Momo, so I believe in him. And Amanda started Abraham started now. This is a player even in first season. Arsenal United winners Obian Konkofa Alexander Isak. Obiase Omonzo Obian Konkofa Alexander Isak. So Emma decided say they will extend the contract. And at that time, Isak Christo Oji close to 150 million. One of Newcastle for highest earners in the team. So, my highlight is also between the Isaac statement not to someone. Then I will read some portion, then link it to the story that American. This is to or more any story. No? So, on the Isaac, I agree that they will extend Isaac contracts until then. And I'm a ton of shares no fit anymore. Then they replace him, Paul Mitchell, who is a sporting director, Ebeteki Niyama. Or by but you see, when Paul Mitchell came, Isaac actually said he had agreed on to say Obey extending the contract because at that time I promised by this too. Now Isaac, I can 4 years for the contract so. And Obey, you know, also we say the PSR rules no. So if they don't sell some players, that is the reason why they sold the academy, 2 academy players. Yakubu Minte and Elliot. At Elliot Henderson, I think, or Nottingham Forest. Or your academy player. And Kenny commit me
long staff.
Yes, but all long staff. So when he came, he had to work on the PSR rules. No fines and everything behind him. But anything currently, they have to sell some players. Now, apart from that, Adiama is a goofy and said, Pomet Chukachen said, or working on PSR rules, no. And Chebia October. Last year on Western Day, Anthony Gordon contracts. And now Anthony Gordon 150 million being one of the highest earners Newcastle £150,000 a week. And Isaac sorry to say what's the PS and to extend him but why you Gordon there but listen you say almost extend Isaac then he's getting close to £300,000 a week. So if you buy extending Gordon there to 2030 then you man 150 close to who Isaac and even Bruno Gomares who is even earning 1 sister. I think say need you know no bet me I get I say they can manage it under that the circumstance. But who they know who 4 years be also ye times 2 the OSASUNA currently old you know intini to base my and Abranta no any Pomecho because Sani money see you know he told Pomecho say he will not play for Newcastle again. And that is the situation. And now listen, Newcastle for where they are, Darry Els, who is the CEO of the team, listen, because of some cancer in the money he has to step down. Currently, they don't have a CEO. And even sporting director, people who are doing recruitment, and the head of recruitment, so they are sure the reason why Newcastle this season, transfer window, lose a lot of players. And they believe that they've had Champions League football. I know person a boom Champions League but last season they played Champions League and this is almost a Champions League football. So Omo then say they've lost Callum Wilson and they cannot lose Obi to say Alenda Isaac and Kahun. And even if they will lose him, they have to sell him at the right price because who told Isaac now Kokofa Jackson about Chelsea will not give you Jackson for less than 70 or 80 million. So they have to do the business right. And Omo say they didn't want to sell the player because a contract extension play will give you make one of the highest earners in the league. And even if Obe Kokrana, it shouldn't be this year. I mean, you're making your plans. I need PS and Neman still air kutia. So me money man can say he's as a on for Newcastle force. But you see, what's Newcastle? You are under contract. Say you see a better 150 million. People have to bring 150 million. If Liverpool wants to buy you one of the best strikers in the league, they have to bring it. Definitely you are under contract. And who come on now Amanda Dieno? Amanda can't say they will sell you ABA next year. It was about contract extension, but you as a player, you have to also understand the club, the situation. You have to understand. And that's now medical can say, boy, no dear, he's not ready to move. And always at preseason, when it's on Premier League photo shoot from Cohen or EB, he doesn't want to on person by idea, yeah, money, but there's a reason why he hasn't even handed in a transfer request. But the moment or the transfer over handing in the transfer request, you lose some bonuses and some of the loyalty bonuses. But the player he's training, that is a loan from the coach, say on training alone. Omoko Austrian, also alcohol, then obviously thigh injury. then they gave me excuse on go training. Or by he's been training alone. But then on peso baby bia every boon the contract on one, then he won't get his money. So listen, if I put myself in Isaac's shoes, man, and they play 900, say he will not play, but he can't say there's no way on 900 so we want Newcastle. And now Eddie Howe, who is the coach, also doesn't want bad energy around the team. So they are and the statement are Newcastle for their statement on what they are say we do not foresee these conditions being met. This is a proud football club with a proud tradition, and we strive to retain our family feel. Or say Alex remains part of our family, and we welcome him back when he is ready to rejoin his teammates. And a statement on the over 3 years. So you a right proposal. The Manasa was saying, you have to join the team. You have to earn the right to come and play for the team. And Isaac, now I had to the relationship in the Isaac kind. I break it, and to me, I think that Isaac is not being fair to the club. And you say, or agreements are no kind. Now can previous contract no. They say verbal agreements and man. You found quasi. In fact, Nippon no agrees or stand no contract. Only hope new sporting director, and no more the reason why. So extending Antonio Gordon, near my more go for see why we are so come. I think that Newcastle they are also looking for Yuan Risa and Risa so also call a year. Sanya we are here training on so go training no. Also for Risa the end so also Instagram list to were deleted Brentford BBF in Instagram. Risa no. And Brentford was list to almost break because they've lost so much key players this season.
So you sell him and you
yes.
reinvest than delay time.
So why is Newcastle not selling?
Because
Newcastle is not selling who?
Isaac.
They are not getting the right price they want. That's not catching them.
Oh man, Liverpool as of now. Oh man, Liverpool a right price.
Liverpool, they paid that call. Were rejecting. But the thing is, they didn't want to sell Isaac. And as of now, the reason why they are not even ready to meet and say replacement or more paying and replacement no. Because Lusu Kalum Wilson and it's one now the player is still under contract. Whether they will sell him or not sell him.
Still under contract.
Yes.
You want to move forward.
You want to move forward. And make sure say there as a club, that is why Isaac is currently he's not training with the team and Anoma Anthony Gordon boy. And as long as you say they haven't been in the market. They've been in the market since day one. But because of Omu issues and the music as checking all the strikers, they went for Liam Delap, Oko Chelsea, Joao Pedro, Oba Chelsea, Benjamin Sesko, Oko Man United, Mamin Kasa Okasa Mambam, Hugo Ekitike, Oko Liverpool. So all their transfer targets, apart from say Neomania Ramsey, any Malik Tiao and Ilanga, any they were looking for a second player or be deputizing Alexander Isak, and even if the player will leave. So if Isak they have to buy 2 strikers, and you almost striker no more no. Brentford for say they should pay this amount of money, and so they know the situation, and they no uncle training. Match on board last time he didn't play some, and they will call the Instagram were deleting all Brentford. Near my Brentford be BNY also Chebane reporter is there Ben Jacobs can say Newcastle for making 35.5 million. If a bar and you see Nanyadma Liverpool Newcastle match. Sa war flags the omu Newcastle fans. Omu na ye ni tifo kese omu bona baso. Me say they were planning to send a message to Alexander Isak and Isak Alexander Mwaba. So that match against Liverpool. Hi, Mamma Mia.
Okay. All right. Andra, and amoye PFA awards no. Sana mudika ka Alexander Isak went to me and Kobe. Now he was nominated. All right, but went to me and Kobe. At the end of the day, he didn't win. Abrante friend Mo Salah and a winnie. Abrante Mo Salah and a winnie. Timmy Pese ordinate to Sumame Mohamed Salah and a winnie ASA awards no. Yes. Now on any the first player watching it twice, 3 times. That is ɛyɛ trouble player bie ni hɔ ɛna watumi agye ɛyɛ 3 times then or appear ɛyɛ team of the year no or appear also nti or the team of the year no so beto so ama me team of the year no or the beto so ɛde ama me na yɛhu ɛyɛ team of the year 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 no me de ato so nti omo jeje na Kevin De Bruyne twice, Gary Bale twice, Ronaldo twice, and Thierry Henry twice, and yeah, omo did so. Team of the week in media to so to bet me there to so am. So team of the year, PFA Premier League team of the year. Abrante friend Matt Sells. Virgil van Dijk. Abrante your friend Kekes and Saliba and Abrante your friend Gabriel Magalhaes Declan Rice Abrante your friend Gravenberch McAllister Mo Salah Abrante your friend Wood and Isaac nti this is a team of the week. I'm not sure said there is any yes you can mention a few players be we say Kopama money and the other now show more numbers and what they did but then mostly na wow GBB no wow yes something extraordinary no when you do baby room Alexander Isak she goes all right there but Newcastle it wasn't consistent compared to what Wood the man Nottingham Forest no. But then when your opportunity about remove no problem with that. But Branty FN Mo Salah na me pesa me kan asem kakra. Branty Mo Salah, Mohamed Salah. O joining Chelsea. O joining Chelsea. At I'm not very young. Very young. 21 no joining Chelsea. But Chelsea bought one season e koso na no ena obu na ketem e ko loan e wo ayebobu kwa ye frɛ no Fiorentina ti okọ Fiorentina no he was a success there returning to Chelsea no ena Chelsea sama ni ko loan no returning to Chelsea no right it you know season na Chelsea challenge for title no he was part of the squad in the middle of the season January no movie here e call Fiorentina and returning then returning here no and Chelsea torn them AS Roma no obo only 2 seasons and them AS Roma and returning to Liverpool for this car Ekofano. 2017-2018 no joining Bubu friend Liverpool from AS Roma. Now I feel na Georgian club I started no rebuilding no to kofa Mo Salah kofa Abrante friend no Sadio Mane fa few players at the umbe joining team no. Now 2017-2018 Abrante friend Mo Salah about 50 games that is 4,120 share 44 goals incredible 44 goals make it 14 assists that time no na wabo 41 games at the ama AS Roma as 15 goals 6 assists then at the following season, about 39 games, I 19 goals, I had 12 assists. Then, I moved by Liverpool. No, the first season, 52 games, and I share 44 goals, and I make 14 assists. 2018-2019, about 52 games, or share 27 goals and will make it 10 assists. 2019-2020 about 46 games or share 23 goals and or year 12 assists. Then 2020-2021 about 51 a year games and or share 31 goals, no make it 6 assists. 2021-2022 51 games, 31 goals, 15 assists. 2022-2023 30 goals, 16 assists. 2023-2024 25 goals, 13 assists. 2024-2025 34 goals, 23 assists. Now me pese yembo Premier League de enko Premier League de enko, that is Liverpool. 32 goals, 10 assists. 22 goals, 8 assists. 19 goals, 10 assists. 22 goals, 5 assists. 23 goals, 13 assists. 19 goals, 12 assists. 18 goals, 10 assists. 29 goals, 18 assists. And to Osha, only 2 seasons out of a year, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons. Only 2 seasons, and I want to make it double figures in assist. Double figures in assist. Now, yeah, me mostly in assist, no. I am in shedder and me problems are because over to me the ball no ato. I play to the amount strikers on Montu net, or teammate or about watching or bubble goalkeeper. The number of goals are wider than Washer. Double figures throughout 8 seasons now. We're joining a Liverpool. No? Double figures. And look, in that 8 years, no, met man catch you say above compares 3-4 times home. Because I've come over it me bought was 2 years in na to so. Aside say otumi jaw 1 month Eddie Pum Ebebo Afcon. This is Mohamed Salah and numbers. Now Okosha a year the all-time top scorer ewo a year the English Premier League. Say or your 5th in the EPL all-time goal scorers list with 187 goals. On a Branty FN and the co and attire a 5th a year. Please. Behind Alan Shearer or a year 260 goals. Hurricane with 213 goals. When Rooney 208 goals and a Frank Lampard. And he Osha 187 now. And now was 32 years. He looks durable to the extent say a good say Liverpool so I'm on a contract a year extension. Ama yes or 33 years. I'm on a year contract extension. So he will continue with Liverpool side. So this year, to me, I replicate the number of goals Oshadema Bobo Kwefene Liverpool. Likely say Obe overtake a Branty Ayefreno a Hurricane. Likely so Obe overtake a Branty Ayefreno a year when Rooney in Frank Lampard. No about a second player washer a lot of a year more Premier League goals. Yes, 260. Ebi wompa. But if you look at the longevity of the current crop of players, as I say, almost a year more. If says a Liverpool, any a branch and be called Ben Chrome, normal warrior na atwaswa. A branch and be to about 3-4 seasons at the account because he looks durable, and even that, say, Ofi Liverpool no or no, I wanna give you say. Or per se otumi a target is 260 goals in this obe break here. Then I was so movie to a year say Liverpool obe movie ako a year other team. Wo Premier League no obe team break record no. And on the highest goal scorer, top scorer at the man a year Liverpool bobo no. Golden boot no we winning no 2027, 2028, 2028, 2018. That's 2017, 2018. 2018, 2019, 2021, 2022, and 2024, 2025. Tying to yet Thierry Henry record for the most golden boots win. We're winning 1, 2, 3, 4. And this year he's in contention to win it. Where does Mohamed Salah rank in all-time Premier League greats? That is the question. With the 8 seasons, Liverpool, Chelsea, the end of the year, and he was basically a young boy. No, what the canwa and shut that any day, any ye, Okoye na Oba, Liverpool, no, and no, a yen day, a treasure, yes. Oba Chelsea a man opportunity. Yes, a Chelsea man opportunity. Chelsea a man opportunity. So he went away and returned. And all these are numbers we air there, but in 8 seasons. This season can one better than 9. So Otuminya 10 seasons are possible, sir. A branch a friend. Alan Shearer record no obey to me. I ben either obey equal and obey to my possible because Abrante on him go shepa. Where does he rank in a Premier League great? To me, in terms of technical abilities, in terms of say when a crab ball no and na odi ye bibia ma na ya colony ade ade de metima bo players be brave in terms of technical abilities on the ball, dribbling ability, skill, and you know how my game no ya kono game ni ye fe ni ade no. Metima bo players be brave. But in terms of impact, any numbers, any contribution to a Liverpool team no, any what he has achieved as a player for a year himself, a bra obore or Premier League no. Mo Salah Abraham as what? Top 3 best player in the Premier League history in my books. In my books, I believe say Abrante Ayefreno Thierry Henry ebe me number 1. No doubt about that. Frank James Lampard ebe boy room e dia mama say me second all-time best player all-time great the English Premier League. Then Mo Salah will come ahead of Wayne Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo. It's as simple as that. Look, it's important say you put matters in the rightful context. Abrante no etumi fi Liverpool team ni mo ba AFCON 1 month, and that time na AFCON ne course no. That is the time Coco season Premier League ne ball a lot of matches. Say normally a month almost 4 games. Ideally a month almost 4 games. Obo the following week no abo no the wabo 4 games. But say edu time na ye ball AFCON yes January na December era January mu no matches dodo am ball ho no enye easy. So I was say ufri mu December 2 weeks to AFCON tournament no I was say we dey ufri camp na oni u team ko campe oni u national team ko campe eti be fa say December no Obebo ebi abese 2 matches bi wom. Say December no bebo 6 matches likely so bebo 2 matches. And so until there has always been that issue ni say players no also say do baby na so mo release na akwa ebebu o mo tumi twan 3 days 4 days I ever start competition no more release big players near there. But Mo Salah is a captain for the Egyptian national team. It was so the leading by example. And Egypt national team no more accept mediocrity. They will not pamper you until you need to what? Hana collapse. eti Mo Salah join na obi a wa return aba na waba na hwe numbers abrante na ye imagine say wa onko AFCON e na wo de o stay no o boss 8 seasons ni nyina AFCON be 3-4 a ojat okoye ekokobo ene imagine say wa anko ni nyina bi e no oboy a you likely possible say abrante no ko be de okabana kan goals na ye na akoso it in my books oyi abrante e fe no Thierry Henry oyi from James Lampard Mo Salah my third all-time great in the history of the Premier League. This is me take. He is a player. I was a statue. I am Rash mo. Anakin Kenny Douglas mo. Enya ewo Anfield no. There should be Mo Salah so the Egyptian king. E was also enya sa statue ni bi e wo Liverpool because Premier League yes Hall of Fame obviously he will be called no doubt about that it's Premier League ni dey no may but say Thierry Henry mu obi akọ Emirates ubetumi ni Thierry Henry ni statue akọ twa picture ukọ Liverpool obetumi ne Kenny Douglas statue akutwa was ye hu Mo Salah so de it shouldn't be about say of Africa and of Egypt yes remo of Africa of Egypt and obo goes in the amamo no obetu England international wo mutim ni mo and there shouldn't be any debate about it because what the guy has done in the English Premier League you might think say it's a fluke. It is never a fluke. The numbers, the impact, and what he has done. He deserves to be adored. He deserves to be said, you been 19, you been 19. You been 19 on. And was say being said, no, your money be. Because he has lived an exemplary life. What's all about English Premier League? No? He speaks against a nyama Emma society no or do I was a Bama society near there a coso no and no okasatia into kwa koso e Middle East or the nanutum and on kasa or supported baku or kasa there should be peace. That is why he is a Muslim, but every Christmas or be posted Christmas tree no one wish a Merry Christmas because he believes look, religion is a man creation. Religion is man creation, and anything be a man a creating. Adibia ni pada sani be creating. A competition adeba. A yinchichemu na de edeba. But Mo Salah believes and through Christian and through Muslim. The difference now say. Be a language. We can different language. No problem about that. The difference now is say we use Holy Bible and I use Quran. The dignity odema o Bible no. The same dignity na me Quran no. The purpose Emma woman Bible no dignity no. The same purpose na me Quran dignity. So I don't see the reason why if say ye nyina ye believe say yes. Ye will two ideologies they worship it the nipa ye adon and nipa and I say sunsuma and I say wiemu and I say obade no how am fa so me the mesom no the same obade na also fa so ye the esom no it is a who di wa fasha na me we show wella me nya boni bia me book na me use as Quran no adie kese kasafa ho eye odo also Bible no adie kese kasafa ho eye odo na odo no bedo hwana eye muhumu na mo bedo. So he has lived an exemplary life und hu se Mo Salah to ne nsa wo park so ne referee ye allegation und se Mo Salah kofa ga bi ni dia und se Mo Salah piano jubi drink and drive or ya American Muslim wakotwa kakra any ade ontete saa nyema ni bi domestic and dia ontebi. They said there is nothing now with Makafa Mo Salah. So he is a typical role modeler. And what say the respect to deserving or say the man. Yes, once in a while the banter never hazard Salah why na say and no ye supporters and no na ema agudie near the but it shouldn't change the fact say the contribution to the Premier League has been an immense degree. I was say your man is respect no. I was say you come man saying na den ete me de Manuel say buja for the mo kanfa Mo Salah what say waje ato aso mi ensa obi anye den enye bi ha ne modern overall e the Premier League ni mo no mo ma yentie.
Yeah, I think Mohamed Salah Osha waje ato aso miensa and edin say obehu say player bi aje ato aso miensa. Ahwe list na omo bebre either say omeja Premier League no crabo and also ome move ko different teams. Consistency ene e ka ho asem na utimi bo a Premier League every season bi ehun say clubs need to better strikers eba but eba no say getting nearer to the goal scoring charter every time be that shows the caliber of player yeah. Yenim say oba Chelsea those times of baby boy at Chelsea team no na wentimi enya enough playing time wentimi enya enough time I exhibiting ho but obi on ko movie call Italy no ko be na dream say league am ko boy am fade me return it to ho but onya GDA return here ye both a Premier League players or near the top scoring chart and the din kan and being an African ade ba ko man a big exposure especially it created that exposure some other African countries, some other African players. So most betimi aye Mo Salah their role model letting me about Edu Sam Pepe so on also. Into I think that he's one player. Yes, Uko Egypt they idolize him a lot. They believe that he's that key man with me Egyptian national team, the Egyptian nation as a whole. Letting me do we are seeing now. And I think say when the performance bibia eden tena kind ente asemboni bi amfa no see bia wakoko didi obi atem and wakoko can be a club even during the time na only Liverpool transfer contract na ba be nsem Mo Salah why ya amana kwa ni say obu so be post picture keke maybe onu ni Van Dijk ni Alexander Arnold picture na we jama the comment section fans ni yeden edi omo nsem tutu. I think he has been able to express himself in the Premier League and name impaibo amebo amani so betimi ato so this season with a similar performance. Now record that KBS or TMBT. Then they say in some years to come, when they hear the Premier League top scorer, we mention say it's an African from Egypt with me the Premier League top scorer, beat the likes of Alan Shearer and any player beyond me available.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Mo Salah, the journey in the Premier League, IFA this season will be the 10th season. I stand to be corrected in.
About 8 this season, 9.
All right. Yes. So almost a decade.
Unless all the Chelsea the enemy come.
So if that Sayeka, the history in the Premier League definitely distinct with Chelsea. But I mean, he came into the Chelsea setup as a very young player. He couldn't even enter into the team. He had a lot of playing time before Oko Roma, and he came back to Liverpool and when now reaching the peak as a footballer. And Oba, this last just ended season winning the 4 golden boots. No, we're winning the 4 times. The Mutu was shared. I think Bako was with Hurricane and I think Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
So we're winning the 4 times and I mean an incredible mark. We're winning the Premier League title so 2 times. The second one with Arsenal was the second time. In terms of goals, numbers, longevity and everything, will put him up there. For me, arguably, he's the best African player to ever play in the league. But if me all-time great, I think that there will be a lot of things maybe I'll consider in terms of longevity. He's also up there in terms of numbers, success, and everything. But I think that he goes into my top 6 all-time greats in the Premier League in terms of the numbers, the achievements, individual and also with the club, and then the longevity, especially in the league. So Mohamed Salah, there used to, I mean, he hasn't retired yet. And I say he hasn't even stopped playing for Liverpool. And the contract extension year, it was a year with another for the year. So if Liverpool decides say Omemana about Salah, because another back on say if you look at Salah, the physical in the training, sometimes if we not time ready about the training, maybe when you're doing the 30 so the 6 packs in the name and just like Cristiano Ronaldo. So with how he is in this, he can play the Premier League for the next 4 years and he can still play it to the very high intensity that we expect him to play. So Salah, they huge respect, and as a Premier League family man, but to me, arguably the best African player to ever play in the Premier League. And Obebamu asked me top 6. Maybe I'll rank Alan Shearer, Thierry Henry, Wayne Rooney, Ryan Giggs, Frank Lampard ahead of him in terms of some 1 or 2 maybe. But then when I retire, as time goes on, before I be free Liverpool, we can make a huge adjustment. For me, currently, he's in my top 6 or maybe probably top 5 greats of all time. And on the African player or about Premier League, Aboni list.
Okay, right. Moment for us cinema a chair for nothing. Answers.
Okay, yes. Us for the day, no. Let's start with the all the Champions League games are so. Let's start with Celtic and Kairat Almaty game, no. Yeah, belt builder option, a straight win for Celtic, and over 2.5 goals in that game. Samsung Bodo Glimt and Stormgrass game, no. Double chance for Bodo Glimt, and over 1.5 goals in that game. Basel and Copenhagen game, so over 1.5 goals in that game. Sanso and Fenerbahce and Benfica, tough game. Pardon me, I'm not because so given over 1.5 goals in that game. Okay, South African League now. Orlando Pirates and Stellenbosch, everybody and no, over 1.5 goals in that game. Out of 4.5 odds. Code no X9 GY S9 GY.
Yeah, list to me picks for games near Champions League playoffs are cause Bodo Glimt and Stormgrass game no make Bodo Glimt straight win and over 1.5. Benfica and Fenerbahce neighbor home. Fenerbahce win or draw and 1.5. Celtic game over Celtic win and under 4.5. Odds no 5 odds with bet builder MYBET.AFRICA code no T9JY MYBET.AFRICA.
Okay, the Basel on the copy again for 1.5. Bodo Glimt ne Stormgrass first half over 0.5. Celtic ne FC Kairat Almaty first half win for Celtic. Fenerbahce ne Benfica over 1.5. And Estudiantes de La Plata and Cerro Pontino and Estudiantes home goal. Omobo a year Copa Libertadores no. And a year SC Cenciano on a club Bolívar and above 1.5. And I Denmark Division 1. Hobry Ike and AC Horsens. AC Horsens away go. Yes, Mamelodi Sundowns and Magasi FC and Mamelodi Sundowns 1 to 3 goals. Yeah, and also ya media. Yami adom ya china ya besa shana de yakane nyina ya de abram ya kramo.